I'm Mike Dano, the editor-in-chief of Fierce Wireless, and I'm here with Mohamed Madkour from Huawei. Thanks so much for joining me, Mohamed. I appreciate
My pleasure, Mike.
Great. So let's get started. So the first question I had for you was about Huawei's business in the U.S. market. And I wanted to ask you, Huawei has not had any major sales in the U.S. market for the past few years, and so I wanted to see if you could comment on whether that was going to change this year, next year, kind of what your thoughts were about Huawei's business in the U.S. market for the kind of foreseeable future.
So just like any other country or other region in the world that Huawei serve, or there is a potential business in there, we are really customer focused. So as far as our customer need our solution, we are going to be there for them. We provide global standard equipment that can be deployed all over the world. Of course, using different kind of scenarios, deployment scenarios. So I don't think U.S. market is any different of any other region that we're serving. So we're ready to serve U.S. As far as the customer there need us.
Okay, but I suppose you can't say anything specific about, like, we'll definitely have sales in the U.S. market. You can't get any of those kinds of predictions.
Well, we're ready. We're ready to serve.
Fair. So the next question I had was about a general question about Huawei's overall sales kind of this year and next year. And the reason I ask is because some of Huawei's competitors like Nokia and Ericsson have had some struggles this year with declining sales and layoffs. And so I wanted to see if you could just comment generally on the equipment business, Huawei's equipment business this year, and kind of what, if you could give me some kind of general comments on like how it's going and any insight you can
Well,
give.
let's start by saying that we still see really beautiful growth in MBB in general, globally.
And MBB is?
Mobile broadband.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm just like, MBB.
Yeah.
So we still see, huge growth for mobile broadband in general, globally. In terms of capacity, we still see double-digit growth. In terms of ubiquity, we see it is going ubiquitous everywhere. In terms of services, we're seeing a lot of new services that operators are faced with, not only from connecting people, but also connecting things and also even connecting cars. And there is also another one, which is serving home broadband, which is really important now in terms of using wireless to serve those. So having said that, I think still there is no ceiling of the growth for business for mobile network operators. And we're still providing competitive solution that will allow us to take leading position when it comes to serving our customer. But commenting on our business in general, I think we see in two parts. I can comment on what we see in terms of the demand in emerging markets, and I can also comment about what we see demands from developed markets.
Which is different. I mean, the demand that you're seeing in emerging markets is different than you're seeing
absolutely is. I mean, the kind of demand is different.
Okay.
I mean, talking about emerging market, and you can just, I give you two data points. We still see more than 3 billion people without internet and more than 800 million families without broadband. So we really see a lot of opportunities there. And for example, for the next 6 or 7 years, we are projecting to connect 2 billion more mobile subscribers, and maybe 500 million more homes will have access to broadband. So this is the kind of really the demand that we're seeing on that regard. On the other side of the table, when we talk about developed market, we still see LTE. There is huge demand for LTE, and also that's supported by also our strategy for having 4.5G evolution in terms of adding more 5G technologies into the operator 4G networks so that it allowed them to adopt 5G-like service. So this kind of strategy, I think we're seeing it very successful. Last year, we deployed about 69 4.5G network out of 90 networks that have been deployed or trialed during 2016, no matter whether it's gigabit per second or IoT or other services as well.
And so it's fair to say that you have not seen the drop-off in sales that some of the other vendors?
We
in the
still
space are
see exciting times and good sales in both sides.
That sort of leads me into 5G. I wanted to ask you a few questions about 5G, of course, because that is the topic here at Mobile World
Very
Congress.
hot.
Yes, exactly. So the first one I wanted to ask was two parts actually. The first one was, can you talk about what 5G equipment Huawei is selling now, because some of your competitors have talked about their equipment for 5G that they're selling now. So if you could talk about that first, and then also talk about when 5G equipment will become a material source of revenue.
That's a great question, actually, and that's going to summarize the overall 5G story. So first of all, I would like to mention our strategy in terms of supporting a unified global standard, and on that we support, like for example, 3GPP as a main standard for overall 5G, and that will help driving the ecosystem for 5G. 3GPP will have release 15 ready in 2018, and right after release 15 is ready, we will have the equipment that support one use case, which is enhanced mobile broadband. Now, release 16 is supposed to be released from 3GPP in 2019, kind of third quarter 2019, and right after that, and that's supposed to serve the other two use cases of 5G, which is ultra reliable, low latency communication, and also massive machine type communication. So right after it is released in 2019, on 2020, we expect to have the equipment that fully support all cases of 5G, and that's the time that you will see a massive or global deployment on a larger scale for 5G. So that's from the standard timeline and our equipment timeline. Now, as I said, the operators should not wait until 5G standard is ready. They can adopt, and here we can differentiate between two things. We can differentiate between 5G services and business and 5G equipment. We facilitate adoption of 5G like services, like for example IoT, or for example over 1 gigabit per second speed, and also a little bit lower latency. We facilitate that by introducing features for 4G network, which is
into LTE.
Exactly, 4.5G evolution. So that will give the chance for the operator to change and to transform their business and adopt those services and be ready for the real 5G equipment if they need, or if they see there is a need for that.
So they'll be ready for 5G when the standard
when the standard is ready. The other thing that you talked about, the equipment, and on that, I would like to tell you a very interesting strategy for Huawei regarding the equipment. In MWC here, we announce all cloud network, which is Huawei strategy. So we have Cloud RAN and Cloud Air, Cloud Radio Access Network, and also Cloud Air Interface. And in those two features, those are fundamental features to enable 5G and to make 5G actually even more ubiquitous in the future, and to allow operators to easily deploy it and phasing out the legacy technology. Cloud RAN decouples a lot of good things. Decouples uplink communication from the mobile unit to the base station, and the downlink from the base station to the mobile unit. It decouples the control planes and the data plane or user plane. So now you can introduce 5G into 4G by using Cloud Air Interface technology seamlessly and use 4G core for that. I know it sounds a little bit technology, but the idea here is that we now having ready the architecture for 5G is ready, Cloud Air is ready. Those will make things so easy to add on 5G in future.
To move to the 5G standard when it is 100%
flexibly
finalized.
Software as a function. So decouple equipment and technology.
Okay.
These are two different things.
Okay.